Salam everyone. This is a traditional Palestinian dish. It's called Mansaf. It is a yogurt sauce cooked with meat and served with rice. It is a very special dish and served in celebrations and big events, or even just if someone special is coming over to your house, you would serve this. Today's variation is Laban Imo, and Laban Imo is the same idea of cooked hot yogurt sauce, but has a lot of cooked pureed onions in the actual yogurt. It is a really special dish that my friend Lena has taught me, and I have started cooking it ever since she taught me this dish. So here are the ingredients. You've got the meat, the rice, the yogurt, onions, variety of spices there, an egg, some corn flour, and the amounts are there for you to take note of. And obviously some ginger for cooking the meat. I forgot to put that in earlier. The way my mum taught me to do this dish is exactly what you see on the screen, minus the onions. So Mansaf is all those things minus the onions. Laban Imo is all those things with the onions. So that's just to clarify the difference between the two. When you prepare the onions, you peel them, but you leave them intact, so the bottom bit is not cored or anything. Now the meat. Take your meat on the bone, put it in the pot. I use a pressure cooker. Put the onions, add about to submerge the lot. Then add all the spices that you saw on that first page. I use a pressure cooker because it makes the meat tender, but use whatever method you prefer. Once that's cooked and they're soft and almost falling off the bone, then you let them cool, obviously, so you can handle the meat. I take my meat off the bone so I don't have bones in the sauce, but that's really up to you. And then you take the onions out, you strain the liquid. That's the liquid that you're going to mix with the onions, blend with the onions to use as the liquid component in the yogurt. So you strain the juice. First you take the onions out, you put them in a bowl, strain the juices and put them on top of the onion. Take your meat out, put it aside, and then now your meat is separated from your liquid and onions. Set your liquid aside with the onions in it and your meat aside, and by then you'll be ready to start on the yogurt. And what you do is, in a pot you put your 2 kilos of yogurt, and on that in a side dish you would whisk your egg and the 2 tablespoons of corn flour. Make sure you are adding the corn flour and the egg to cold yogurt, and do not turn the heat on yet. So you add that in, okay, after you've whisked it well, and that's when you will mix that and the salt and pepper, a bit of salt and pepper, with the cold yogurt only. There is no liquid other than what you've seen me put. Mix it well, and once it's mixed well, then you can switch the heat on or turn the stove on. Once you turn the heat on, you cannot stop whisking. This is probably the most laborious part of the dish. You have to keep whisking until it boils, and once it's boiled, that means it's cooked, which then you can stop stirring. You cook the yogurt without any liquid and you set it aside. Now the rice. You wash your 4 cups of rice. You have to wash it a few times. Do not soak basmati rice. I just wash it, and I'd say wash it 3-4 times until you get clearer water. After you wash it, for every cup of rice you use, you need a cup of water, except for the first cup. So if I'm cooking 4 cups, I would put 5 cups of water. Then for every cup of rice, you will need 1 level teaspoon of salt. And then once you bring that to the boil, you then put it down on very low and let it cook for about 10 minutes. You keep an eye on it. Once the water's all been absorbed, you turn the heat off. Then you wrap your pot with a big towel and set it aside. That keeps the rice warm, and not only that, it helps it absorb all the extra moisture. And as you can see, once you open the pot, it's nice to fluff it up first thing and put it aside. It'll stay hot, wrapped up in a towel for at least 4, 5, 6 hours even. Now let's get to the highlight of this dish, which is the stock and the onion mix. That's going to be the liquid component for the yogurt that we've cooked. So after straining the stock and placing the whole onions, which have collapsed, into a metal bowl or a bowl, that's when you'll need to start using a stick blender to blend the lot together. There has to be no chunks in it, very smooth. And once you've done that, then you can add it to the yogurt that you've cooked previous. I suggest you switch the stove on and, get it a little bit warm, add your stock, and then whisk until it boils together. And once it's boiled, it's ready. This is just to guarantee that it's all combined. Just to clarify proportions, Mansaf is usually made 2/3 yogurt, 1/3 liquid. In this case, I've made it 50% yogurt, 50% liquid. I don't like the yogurt very thick. So really, you can play around with this. But if you want to stick to the recipe, don't go more than 50% liquid. So go 2/3 yogurt, 1/3 liquid. You'll be on the safe side. Otherwise, what I've done there is 50-50. Now, this is when you would taste the salt and add to taste. It has to taste right. You would know yourself. Then you add your meat, which you've set aside. Now, what I've said before, I've pulled the meat off the bone. You don't have to do that. And what cut of meat you use is up to you. Lamb is the nicest in this dish, and anything on the bone adds that extra flavor to the yogurt. Enjoy this traditional dish that my mother taught me how to cook, and my friend Lena added her special bit with using the onions. I hope you like it. It's a really special dish, and my kids love it. Enjoy.